And one more thing on that, you lucky people here in Alabama might get a knock on your door because I hear Alabama might be one of the most unvaccinated states in the nation. Well, Joe Biden wants to come talk to you guys. He's going to be sending one of his police state friends to your front door to knock on the door, take down your name, your address, your family members' names, your phone numbers, your cell phone numbers, probably ask for your social security number, and whether you've taken the vaccine or not. Yeah, well, what they don't know is in the South, we all love our Second Amendment rights. And we're not real big on strangers showing up on our front door, are we? They might not like the welcome they get. Let me tell you something else that makes me sick. We have a man that no one elected. You didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for him. I'm not talking about Joe Biden. I'll get to him in a minute. I'm talking about Dr. Tony Fauci. We didn't vote for him. He makes more money in the federal government than the President of the United States. Don't forget, President Trump never took a paycheck, everybody, right? But Joe Biden takes his paycheck. Dr. Tony Fauci funded with your tax dollars. He funded it in the Wuhan lab, didn't he? He funded COVID-19. The gain of function research. That is his baby. That is his experiment. And he's getting to watch it in the real world, like a live television show where he has the front row seat. He gets to watch what happens. So this man sent your tax dollars, my tax dollars, through a third party to the Wuhan lab where the gain of function was used to take a virus that was spread between animals, and it was changed into a virus that spread between humans all over the world, has gotten people sick, and they're dying. They died and they're still dying.
This is Marjorie Taylor Greene exercising that pristine judgment and issuing a thinly veiled threat that if anyone were to come door to door offering a free, life-saving vaccine, that they should be shot. If you were wondering how the insurrectionists on January 6th got radicalized, look no further than by people like Marjorie Taylor Greene herself at events just like this one. And when it happens again, this will be why. What's worse, the whole basis for her threat isn't even a real thing. It's a complete straw man. There are no federal officials coming to your homes to force you to be vaccinated. All this is a way for Republicans to defer to the only tactic they know how to use: fear. They are trying to scare you into thinking the big bad government is running toward you with needles infused with microchips, because that's what the government wants. It wants to know when you go to Applebee's. The fact is that the politics of fear are the only way that Republicans know how to win, by scaring people into thinking that they have no choice but to vote for them. Now, that's not to say that officials won't go door to door offering or encouraging vaccines, but A, that has nothing to do with Joe Biden and would be a decision taken up by states and localities. B, no one is forcing a needle into your arm. All it would do is offer a more convenient way for people who haven't gotten the vaccine yet to get it. And C, they should. Remember, we're talking about a free, life-saving vaccine, which is pretty convenient considering we just so happen to be in the fourth wave of a pandemic. And after seeing more than 600,000 Americans die, you'd think that a vaccine might be a pretty good idea, assuming you want some help, surviving. And speaking of fear-mongering, it's then no surprise that the next person she looks to spotlight is Dr. Fauci. Why? Because the right needs a boogeyman. They need someone to blame for all of the problems that they themselves exacerbated so as to diffuse responsibility off of themselves. They need some diabolical Democrat to vilify for all of the problems that they just got done fear-mongering about. In other words, everything is bad and you should be scared, and the person responsible for all this bad, scary stuff is this person right here. And the reason that Republicans have to do this is because the alternative would mean running on their agenda, and they can't possibly do that. Why? Because they support attacking women's reproductive rights and pretending climate change doesn't exist, and coddling fossil fuel companies, and giving tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires and corporations, and blocking people from exercising their rights to vote. And so, of course, they have to deflect your attention onto something else, because if they ran on the merits, no one would vote for them. So instead, they have no choice but to whip their supporters into an absolute frenzy over people like Dr. Fauci, for the crime of trying to keep Americans safe in a pandemic exacerbated on a daily basis by anti-science Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, she is so desperate to deflect blame that she literally suggests Dr. Fauci created COVID. Right, the nation's premier immunologist, the director of the U.S. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, a position he's held for almost 40 years, the person who led the U.S. through a number of pandemics, including H1N1, SARS, West Nile, Ebola, and Zika, created COVID because I guess he just decided, hey, how about instead of continuing my life's work of stopping pandemics, I create one for a change. And the only person smarter than Dr. Fauci who could uncover the truth was Marjorie Taylor Greene, whose only claim to fame is that she subscribes to a conspiracy theory that a cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles are eating people and running a global child sex trafficking ring and trying to take down Donald Trump. Also telling is the fact that this crowd applauds when Greene says that Alabama might be one of the most unvaccinated states in the nation. Because if there was ever an applause line, it's that people have voluntarily chosen to leave themselves vulnerable to a virus that's already killed 630,000 Americans. And even though those who got vaccinated are only 0.004% of those who are catching COVID, and only 0.001% of those dying from COVID, still these people think it's some kind of a win to not only have left themselves vulnerable to the virus, but to make it more dangerous for everyone else at the same time. And that's the saddest part here. Because look, at the end of the day, if you want to risk your own life in the privacy of your own home, that's on you. But refusing to get vaccinated exponentially increases the likelihood that you'll carry the virus. And even if you get it and survive, you may have passed it to the next guy who doesn't. And by the way, rules in society that limit individual freedoms to protect the broader population aren't new. They aren't some invention of the squad. Ilhan Omar and AOC didn't invent speed limits. They didn't invent clothing requirements in public. I know that Republicans love to pretend that somehow living in a free country gives you carte blanche to do everything and anything you want, like this is Lord of the Flies, but that has zero basis in reality. Not only do we have basic rules that everyone has to abide by that limit your total freedom, but among those rules are actual literal vaccination requirements. If you went to public school in this country, you've likely already gotten a number of vaccines, including chickenpox, MMR, DTaP, polio, and hepatitis B, because they were mandated. If Marjorie Taylor Greene and the people attending her rally were in charge, we'd still be dealing with polio outbreaks. The fact that we're not is a testament to following the science instead of following people who did their residency on Facebook.com. So I don't usually highlight people as off the rails as Marjorie Taylor Greene, but by refusing to condemn her, the Republican Party is showing that it supports her. And to have a major political party stand behind such a circus is a testament to just how dangerous that party has become. If you enjoyed that video and you're looking for a deeper dive, check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. It's a no BS look at the top stories of the week, along with interviews with the top names in politics, like Vice President Kamala Harris, Jen Psaki, Elizabeth Warren, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Katie Porter, Pete Buttigieg, and more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Also, if you want to see more videos like this one, click the subscribe link right here on this screen to join the more than 1 million people who've already subscribed to my channel. And finally, to donate to my Don't Be a Mitch Fund, where I'm raising money for a whole raft of different voter outreach and voter registration groups in the closest states ahead of midterms in 2022, including Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Texas. You can find that link on this screen as well. Thanks for watching.